Welcome to the Seeds Storyteller Series with my sister and brothers collectively coming to you from 4 different countries around the world. What a technological wonder. Ryan from Ukraine, thank you, brother, for being here. Wow.
You're welcome. Thanks for having us.
Yes. Pappy coming to us from Germany. Thank you for being with us.
Oh, thank you for having us.
And Raïssa coming to us from the Congo. Thank you, sister, for being with us. It's a blessing to have y'all here. So for those of you who are brand new to this series, this is a series of conversations that I am having with friends, sisters and brothers around the world who are making a difference right here, right now, amidst this corona pandemic that is impacting everyone around the world. And these are friends who are really committed to making a difference in the world, to sharing their gifts, to serve, love people, and to connect and to share their stories in a way that inspires, informs, and ignites all of us. So as you listen, we invite you to lean in, to find the thread of your story that connects with each of them, because we believe if you're listening, it's the stuff of destiny and there is something for you. So this is not a passive watch at a distance sort of conversation. We invite you to lean in and be a part of these incredible, I call them ARTivists, artists, activists that are using their tools of writing, of filmmaking, of photography to tell stories that bring beauty, that bring hope, that really inspire and connect us all around the world. So we are going to dive right in. And Pappy, will you introduce us to these beloved team members of yours? I have Raïssa's audio muted just because we have some sound issues, but Raïssa, you can unmute yourself, wave, or I will unmute you when you reach out to talk with her. So my friend, tell us about these beautiful friends of yours.
Yeah, thank you, Sarah, for having us. It's definitely a great opportunity to be on this platform and to be given the chance to share our stories. And this is the second time that we have been we've been with you sharing. The last time we were in Congo, and it was just an amazing experience to bring all those people to share their stories. And today we are with 2 of my favorites people on the team. So we work with the Focus Congo, which is an organization based in Congo here in Germany as well. And out of Focus Congo, we have a project called Kitoko, meaning this beauty, the hidden beauty of Congo. And within that project, we have 2 of the guys that are playing a part and contributing to this project. We have, first of all, Raïssa. Raïssa is in Congo right now, specifically in Bukavu, and she contributes in writing. Also, she does some photography and part of also running our Kitoko Instagram page. And she meets with amazing people around the city of South Kivu and North Kivu, really discovering the beauty, discovering the resilience and the strength found within the people of Congo. And having her going there because they're open to her, having her working with us has just been a great opportunity, and also a great as a female in the Congo is always not easy to have those doors open for them. But we believe that having her there, going to talk to other females, it just opens more door for us. And so that's Raïssa. And then we have my good friend, my brother, He's now my family, Ryan Carter. I met with Ryan Carter, I think it's about 10 years ago in Sweden. And we met because Ryan Carter's daughter, who was, I think, few months or 1 year old back then, 2 years old, and she really wanted to greet me all the time I passed by, and she introduced me to her parents. And when I met when I met her parents, I discovered that they were amazing people, and we kind of in the same field of influence. And it was that's when we started off. And I remember sharing with Ryan that you should come to Congo, and then he said, "Yeah, I will come." And and he's been to Congo for now, I think 4 times, and we not only working in Congo, we're working together around the world, really telling stories that brings dignity to people. And I just love him, and I'm so grateful for his contribution for the Kitoko projects. We funded this project together, really showing the beauty and the quiet strength of the Congo, showing the image that is usually not shown to the world. And yeah, so that is Ryan.
Yeah.
And I guess Ryan or Raïssa will start with share.
Yeah. Raïssa, can you hear us? Does the sound okay? Okay, sister, will you share a little bit about what you love, the stories that you are loving to write about and to photograph, and why that is so important to you right now?
Please remove the headphones, remove, and then. Yeah.
And maybe,
Yeah,
maybe Pappy, can you repeat the question and make sure that she heard it?
yeah, partagez avec nous, Raïssa. Enlevez les écouteurs aussi, partagez avec nous qu'est-ce que tu fais et qui tu es. Enlève les écouteurs, dis-nous avec le téléphone, c'est mieux, je crois, comme ça. Comme ça, on peut écouter, parce qu'avec les écouteurs, on n'écoute pas bien. Merci. Ah oui.
Oui, depuis toujours, j'ai été passionnée par la photo. Et maintenant, je l'ai fait en combinant. J'ai commencé à le faire en combinant
je vais
tous mes rêves
alors.
ensemble. Et c'est
Je
là
vais
que...
traduire. I had always the passion of photography and writing ever since I was young.
C'est là que je me suis dit de faire la photographie, car j'avais toujours voulu faire être interprète ou être poète, écrivain, et c'est là que je me suis dit de commencer à faire la photographie, car c'était ça le moyen. C'était ça le moyen pour combiner mes 4 rêves.
I wanted to be able to write stories, and this is when I got this opportunity to combine all my dreams, all my vision together of photography, writing, and telling stories.
Et je voulais abandonner aucun de ces 4 rêves. Alors, la photographie m'a donné l'opportunité de vivre les 4 rêves à la fois dans un seul métier qui est la photographie.
The photography has given me the opportunity to combine all these 4 dreams I've had.
Et tout ça, j'ai commencé à le faire. Donc, j'écrivais depuis toute petite, mais j'ai réalisé ces rêves grâce au projet Kitoko Oyo de l'organisation Focus Congo.
I was always writing, but all this dream came to life when Kitoko Oyo project started.
C'est quand je fais plusieurs descentes sur le terrain avec toute l'équipe autour de Kitoko Oyo que j'ai commencé à
That's when
comprendre, à
I
découvrir.
started traveling with them, the team of Kitoko Oyo, and discovering a lot of different ideas and the beauty of Congo.
Parce que Kitoko Oyo m'a permis, et toute l'équipe, de découvrir plusieurs endroits, magnifiques endroits qu'il y a au Congo, et de faire la connaissance de plusieurs personnes. Et cela m'a permis de comprendre ce que je voulais faire et ce que ça représentait pour moi. Alors là, j'ai retrouvé ma voie et j'ai choisi la photographie pour essayer d'écrire la beauté de la RDC et défendre la RDC et les personnes que j'aime par la
Kitoko
photographie.
Oyo has allowed me to be able to find my voice and to meet with a lot of interesting people whenever we're going on location and shooting, collecting interviews, and then also because of that, I have developed the vision to be able to speak for Congo through my photography.
Ouais, c'est comme ça que j'essaie d'exercer. Je fais la connaissance de plusieurs personnes qui ont des différentes et intéressantes histoires. Parfois, je sors pour aller explorer la ville, le pays. Et là, je découvre bien des choses. Et je me dis de ne pas garder ça pour moi et partager ça avec d'autres personnes qui n'en savent rien.
Yeah, I'm very, very privileged right now as I look at my country and travel around my country with telling the stories. I meet a lot of interesting people, a lot of people that are doing different things. And because of that, I can be able to also tell their stories and the interesting stories to the world.
Merci. Merci, Raïssa. Amazing. Thank you. Thank you. Ryan, will you share with us a little bit about your passion for storytelling, largely through your camera? Yes?
Yeah.
But share a bit of your passion for storytelling and art and activism.
Sure. Well, I just love stories, I guess, and it's something that has been in me for a while. And I grew up not thinking I was ever creative, failing art at school because I can't paint, I can't draw, things like that. And I got into photography, and it just sort of clicked with me. And it was one of those things that it was this outlet that I needed, I guess, that I never thought I had. And I studied commercial photography and worked in advertising and stuff for a while. But then when I met with Pappy, really is when things really started to see the storytelling side of things, and hearing Pappy's story, and you guys will hear a little bit more about Pappy later on. But hearing his story, and he invited me to go to Congo, and having that opportunity to go and see these places and tell these stories, and just through my camera, through the images and a still image, just to be able to capture the beauty of a place like Congo is just amazing. And yeah, it sort of is growing from there, and we're privileged now to get to travel quite a lot to different places and tell people's stories, and really focusing on, like Pappy said, dignity and beauty of the places and the people that we're around. There's so much imagery around everywhere at the moment, both good and bad. And it's one thing we really want to be able to tell these positive stories of hope, and that's where this Kitoko Oyo project came from, to tell the beauty of Congo. And it's talking about the strength and the resilience of the Congolese people. And even just in like these COVID times, you know, resilience comes from adversity, and the Congolese people have had so much adversity throughout forever, I guess, in a lot of ways. And now this is just another thing that they're dealing with, that also though shows the strength in the Congolese people, and people like Raïssa and Pappy and all the people I get to meet and work with in Congo just really show that beauty for me, and that resilience, and to be able to tell some of their stories and share with people in America, in Australia, where I'm from, and here in Ukraine, and just to be able to share these stories of hope and beauty of a country that people don't necessarily equate with beauty, because there's so much there. And in that as well, with people like Raïssa, to be able to help teach her more about photography. I remember when I was there last time, we did a lot together, and to see the work she's producing now and telling these beautiful stories and showing these beautiful pictures of this place, which is just amazing. And to be able to help to develop some of the young journalists and people like Raïssa to tell stories of their own country, to be proud of who they are, to be proud to be Congolese, and to be proud to show the world that Congo is an amazing place. And that's really exciting for me. So it's kind of telling those stories myself while also being able to help develop other people to tell the positive stories and to show the beauty of places like Congo and the other places we get to travel as well. And yeah, it's just something that brings me a lot of joy and something that I love to do, and I'm privileged that that can be my life. So yeah.
Yeah, and I want to make sure that everyone knows that in the write-up for this conversation, there's a link to more connections with Raïssa, Ryan, Pappy. I mean, it's a vortex of emails and websites and Instagram. And so please, if you're drawn in, please do loop in with these three amazing folks, because as each of them have been saying, not one of their stories is complete, nor would it be their stories would not be what they are without this connection that they have with each other. It's both, this collaboration is very generative. It's making things together. So I love that about the three of you. And I wish we had hours and hours as the three of us, but I want to make sure we have a moment to talk with Pappy. So for now, Raïssa and Ryan, thank you guys for being a part of this. And again, y'all, please do loop in with each of them in the connection links written up in the write-up. Thank you, sister, and thank you, brother.
Thank you, Laura.
I'm gonna unmute you, Raïssa. Let me make sure. I want to make sure we can hear your voices so you say goodbye. Bye, sister. Blessings.
I guess she's muted. Oh. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Bye, Raïssa.
Bye, sister. Thank you for being with us.
Tu peux maintenant couper. Tu peux finir, je crois. Tu vois comment le faire. Ou bien tu peux juste fermer l'application, je crois, ça va aussi.
Okay. All right. So again, Pappy, even in Raïssa and Ryan's stories, it was so cool. I mean, the ways that you are such a bridge, such a connector, such a lover of people, and just looking for ways to spark people's passion and creativity, and to do that in a way that really makes, the country of the Congo where you were born, but really around the world, brings beauty and hope and all kinds of goodness. So thank you for what you do and how you do it. And before we get to a little bit more of what is Focus Congo and a little bit more of what's happening in the Congo, because I do really want people to hear that from you, because your heart is so big and passion is so mighty with that. But I just would love for you to share a little bit about your story, because it's the stuff of movies. It's your story is quite remarkable. Will you just kind of give us a little glimpse of your story and how you came to be doing what you're doing now?
Yeah. Oh, thank you again, Sarah. And
yeah,
the guys, Ryan and Raïssa, I have to acknowledge that, the project is not a project without those guys, the collaborative power that we have together, and a lot of guys that couldn't be on the live stream with us. And yeah, I'm very, very thankful to them. and a wave of young people that was rising up, really embracing the beauty of Congo and changing the narrative is incredible. And as we continue, as we go forth, we're going to see more of that. We're encouraging more people to go into this and start doing that. And yeah, so I will like to share with you a little bit of my story, where the vision comes from, for standing for Congo, for being an activism, just as Sister Shaira has called it, is an amazing name, and I'm actually embracing that. So
Good.
I
It's
was
a true one.
yeah, it's a great one. So I was basically born in the eastern part of the Democratic Republic of Congo, which is a really, really beautiful, beautiful area, and also full of resources. And for all of you who have heard stories about Congo, this is a place where you find every kind of minerals. You find, you know, um, the national parks. We have the Virunga National Park, which has the last deposit of mountain gorillas in their natural habitat. You have, the one of the biggest lava lake in the world is there, and it's just incredible. Like the amount of blessing that God has given to us is just incredible. And I was born there. I was born in a village, in a very deep village, not in a city. And I had mountains around me, surround me, very, very beautiful. Didn't acknowledge that I was a kid. It was normal to me to see that every day, waking up to that. I only started realizing now as I go back there, I'm like, oh, wow, this is beautiful. And I lived a relatively peaceful life with my family. We are around 10 children, biological children, and 6 girls and 4 boys. And my parents end up adopting four other kids as as the time went on. And it was just an incredible life every day, playing and laughing with my siblings and going to church in the morning. I have a normal childhood. So my village was like, as you can imagine, of an African. Those African children. If you see movies that depicting Africans, this is a kind of place in which I grew up in. I saw a car at least once in 2 months, and once I saw a car, I would be fascinated. I ran after the car, and I would just, for miles and miles. Sometimes it would take me hours trying to see. This is an opportunity to see a car. And when I saw for the first time a white person, for me this was, incredible. Like following them, screaming out of curiosity, Muzungu, Muzungu, which is a white person in Swahili, But so it was an incredible life. My dad worked for the government, um, for the government of Mobutu. So we had enough in my household. And then also he did farming, so we could cultivate potatoes, and we could cultivate. We had bananas, we had coffee plantation. Incredible. Christmas we celebrated with bonfire together with other families and ate together. But all of these joys that I had lived, ended in 1990, around 1997, 1998, these years, because then the war started, the war reached us. And so for me, as an able-bodied person, and as a young able-bodied person, as a boy, I was a prime target for recruitment for the armies at war. And I remember quickly the 2 events that changed my entire existence and the way I looked at things. The first event was when my father was captured because he had refused. He has been accused of collaborating with the previous government, and rebel caught him and said, "So we're gonna crucify you." And I was somewhere in another city. I got called. My mother sent someone to call me and to be part of, to see how my dad was going to be crucified. And when I got to the location, I I saw my dad from afar hanging upside down on a cross, and it was his time to be crucified. And I remember started praying and just asking God, please protect my dad. And luckily, my uncle, who was also a rebel for a different group, has heard what has happened to my uncle. And so he came rushing, and 5 minutes before my dad could be executed, he rescued my dad. And so now remember, my uncle became almost my hero. He has saved my dad's life. Then the second event that really changed my existence was when my sister also, one of my sisters was captured by the rebels. And at that particular time, there was the culture of rebels capturing women and taking them and go rape them. And so my sister had been captured, and I was the only one home, and she was taken to a location. And so as a kid, I went behind them and I was throwing stone and really trying to fight for my sister. Now you understand, at the very early age, I've already developed this power and the culture of protecting what belonged to us. And so, as unfortunately I couldn't rescue my sister, two of the rebels had already raped her, and but she was only 10 at that particular time. She was a very, very young girl. Two had raped her, and then before the third one could take his turn, I made a lot of noise, and then they rescued her. But as I looked into my sister's face and the horror, the trauma, all of that, it really touched me, and I didn't know what to do. And having imagined what she's gone through, it affected me very, very strongly. And this is a time I developed to be a man. Like any time that things happen, I'll be there. I'll be there to protect. I'll be there, even if I die. As long as I protect what belongs to us, then I've done my job. But unfortunately, again, as time went on and the war continued, it became very clear for us that I was gonna be captured to join the rebel movement, or even I would have joined by willingly, because my uncle was obviously one of the leaders of these groups, and he had served my dad, and it was very, very attractive for me to join his movement. And just before I could join, my dad came, and he felt fear in all his movement and advised me to leave. And I remember, I will try to go through this quick. I remember the day that he sent me out. I went to the village, sold two cattle, and it accumulated about $200 and gave it to me and said, and put it in my shorts. Here, cut my short and said, this will help you when you get to someplace. He didn't know that I was gonna make it, but he felt like it will be better if I can leave the country, because everyone has seen what had happened to the kids that have joined the movement. And I have come back to the villages and raped women, raped some of the kids, even raped their own mothers, because these kids, when they were given information, they cannot meditate on it. That's why the kids were also targeted, because they could manipulate them anyhow, and that will happen. And given that I was already almost, being involved with my uncle, like transporting, I was already being initiated. My dad said, no, you gotta get out as quick as possible.
Let me ask you a quick question. And actually, real quick, I'm so sorry to interrupt. I think there's a microphone here that whenever you touch it, it's kind of, I hear feedback. And I want to make sure we hear your voice loud and clear, because I love your story. So thank you.
Exactly.
But so you were saying, Pappy, that at that point, you were being asked by your uncle to do lots of things, kind of moving towards being becoming a child soldier. Yeah. But your dad wanted to protect you from that path, and so he gave you money and said, it's time for your safety, leave the country. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And how old were you then?
Well, when I left, I was 11 and a half. So for him, it was better. It didn't really matter which movement I would have joined. Every one of them was was fearful, was committing atrocities, whether was a rebel movement, was the group that my uncle was part of, which was called a Mai rebel group, which believed to have a supernatural power and was functioning by witchcraft and stuff like that. And so, but my dad felt fear in all of this movement, and that is the reason why he decided to send me into the unknown. He wished he didn't know that I was going to make it, but for him, for my family, it was better to actually go somewhere and, you know, probably die instead of becoming a horrible person that our other kids become once they join this rebel movement, rebel groups. And so I remember it was 4 o'clock in the morning where my family prayed for me. You know, they were in tears. And then you know, wished me well. They didn't know whether I was going to make it, and send me into the unknown. Yeah, and the journey started at that time. As I left, I found 2 other kids on my way that were also escaping, and around the same age, and together we were on our way to escape. I remember escaping through Rwanda. I'm just going to try and skip through the story because of the timing, not go through all the obstacles that we went through as we progress into the story. And then we went through Burundi. We got to Burundi. We didn't have any papers or passports or stuff, but we needed. People were telling us that was still dangerous for us, and we continued through where they hid us through a ferry, into a ferry, and progressed towards Zambia and through Lake Tanganyika, which took us about 3 days in the Lake Tanganyika. And getting into Zambia, we were finding ways and thought, okay, this may be the last place that we will stay in. But it wasn't the last day because people kept on telling us, you gotta keep going. And they gave us the direction, not knowing. People also were very curious. And I remember in Zambia, seeking for the help of truck drivers and hiding us into boxes because we don't have a proper travel papers and travel documents. So they hid us into paper and we kept on going. And that could have been also dangerous because these truck drivers, some of them actually you know, help for human trafficking and stuff, but they they helped us get to the place that we wanted to go. And we ended up, obviously after a few months now we're traveling, and sometimes we spend a month or in a particular city, and then looking for food on the street, talking to people people feeling sorry for us, you know, not knowing where we're from and where we're going or stuff like that. But we ended up to the border of Zambia, and in Zambia, that's when actually from obstacle to obstacle, because we started going through national parks in order to escape borders. We don't have papers, so there we need to skip through national park. In this national park, I think for you guys who know Africa, there's a lot of animals, a lot of dangerous things that could, yeah. But
Pappy.
unknowingly, and I think that was also the advantage because we kids and we naive and we hoping for something. There was hope, and also there was for me there was an angel that was always protecting us, you know, who we didn't see, but every place that we went to, every obstacle that we encountered, and we came out of that even stronger, knowing that we're going through that, we can make it to the next stage. And we made it to Zimbabwe, and as we made it to Zimbabwe, we were traveling through the route of Bulawayo, to the route that then led us towards South Africa, because people had told us that this was the best place for us that could have been a good place for us as refugees to settle. And then we agreed, because we believed in the people that told us that. But the obstacle became even greater because as we wanted to cross into South Africa, there was a crocodile-infested river that we needed to cross, and then and to be able to do that, we seeked for help of a traditional healer who then did their stuff on us, and the next week or so, he helped us cross the river, believed to the crocodile to have split and get us to the next stage. And of course, at that time, I didn't understand anything of faith, and I was always thinking it's the power of a witch or something like that. And I try to explain people for me what it was, and how we believe there was an angel who was protecting and who was helping us to get to the next place. And as we crossed the river, and as kids, and even for the people that know me, I'm a short guy, and that time I could have been very, very short. And the river that we crossed was very deep river, and to get to the next stage, it was a miracle. So. And as we crossed the crocodile infested river, the next stage was the electrical fence. The electric fence was introduced by the South African government to prevent African from flocking in, because many Africans were flocking into South Africa to look for greener pastures, because I mean the economy is better, the people are finding life better there. And so there was a hole introduced into this electrical fence, and you have to throw yourself into this hole and get to the next, and get to the side of Africa. We did that, and what I could remember, I had my backpack as a kid, and this is the only belonging I had, and I had to leave it behind because I had to jump through this hole, because if I touch the wires, then I'm dead. Yeah. So I did that, and I managed to make it I made it to South Africa.
How long of a journey was it from when you left the Congo at 4 a.m. in the morning with those two boys and then made it to South Africa?
The journey has taken about 2 years.
Wow. So you were 13 when you got to South Africa.
Yeah. And so as I get to South Africa, life became even tougher, because from the place where we entered to even get to Cape Town, where we couldn't even go anywhere, because that was the end for us. It was even a miracle, because police to police, and police helping us, and people helping us to get to the next stage, which is really not that normal. And we could have ended in prison, or because as illegal aliens or stuff like that. And as we got to Cape Town, our life became tough, and I got involved into businesses that were not legal, selling. I was given drugs as a kid to sell on the streets, and I remember losing the drugs, and the owner of the drugs bringing the gun and wanting to kill me. Remember his wife coming and rushing and saying, "Don't kill him, he's just a kid," and stuff. And that is how I really escaped that, and was thrown out of a moving train, but I'm still alive. And a lot of different obstacles, looking for food, and just being on the streets of Cape Town. The imaginable abuse that we went through was incredible. And I just remember one day being on the streets after I was very tired, and I was wondering what my life is going to become. Two young people coming in to me and asking me, "You're such a young boy. What are you doing on the streets? How can you come with us?" But I've known what a danger it is to just follow someone, and I said, "No, I cannot go with you." But they kept on coming. They came for the third time, and the third time I obliged, and I went with these young people. And as I got to their place, the first thing that they gave me was food. So now remember, I have spent sometimes weeks without food. I was going into rubbish and scuffling for food, and then sometime I find sometime down. But this place, the first thing they gave me the, you know, the physical need that I needed.
Yeah.
They gave me food, and because of that, I was like, okay, this place I'm staying. You know, I found something that I was looking for, but also they didn't want to let me go. They went beyond, you know, just looking at me and looking at this street kid who was coming here. They looked beyond that. They saw human, and that was incredible. And as I spent time there and started reflecting on life and talking to different people, I started realizing there was a family, you know, and
So this is
most
the
important.
people that kind of found you on the streets,
Exactly.
offered you food,
Exactly.
and felt like family.
Yeah. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, and then they introduced me because they introduced me to my faith. Some of you, I'm a Christian. I'm a believer, and because of that, they introduced me to the faith and trained me. During the training, the what is called discipleship training, during that time, there was a Father Heart of God. You know, the Father, the representation of that is that there is a Father who loves you, who wants to hug you, who wants to have a relationship with you, who wants to, you know, he is there waiting for you. No matter what you have, bring it to him. And I heard that. Obviously, I only went through that because I wanted food. But as I heard that, I started weeping for years. That hasn't happened. But because of that, it happened. And for the first time, I felt joy. I saw people that went beyond and see a person who's worthy, who was created, who's equal to the rest of the people that I found there. And this led me to become actually that day, that week led me to become the person that I am today. You know, and through that training, I managed. I decided to go through professional help to find myself and to go through the whole trauma, so to go back through it, and then to that also led me to traveling back to Congo and seeking for reconciliation and forgiveness, because as I was discovering myself, I discovered that the only thing that could help me through that time was to seek reconciliation, to actually go to the root of the problem, try to find out what had happened. Why would my father give me up? What has happened to all these kids that were raping with the people that have made me to leave the country? And as I went back, started talking to these people, I found forgiveness. I found reconciliation. I first forgave myself for what I've committed, being on the street, selling drugs, doing all these bad things that I was doing. And then also I forgave all the people in Congo, my parents, the soldiers, the politics. And then as I went through that, I went around. This time I had already become a filmmaker, and I was telling stories. As I traveled the country, I was listening to stories of different people, of the women, of the raped women, of the child soldiering, of different people that have been victims during this war in Congo. But unfortunately, because of that, I also found another horrific story. My sister was who we found that I noticed that she wasn't looking at my face. Every time people wanted to talk to her, she wasn't looking. And then I realized that I asked her, and I found out that she's been raped when she was 5 years old. And then because of that, she felt that it was her fault. What had happened to her was her fault. And I was finding about that, and from all the stories that I've heard, I developed anger and bitterness. And then I said that I'm not going back to South Africa. I'm going to go and take a weapon and start a fight. And as I was preparing myself to leave and become a rebel, my sister, for the first time, she looked at me in my face and then told me, "Brother, keep on loving." And I wondered within my spirit, why would she say keep on loving? Because she had every reason to hate, but she chose love for what had happened to her, but she chose to tell me, keep on loving. And this is a love that hold me today. That is the love that makes us talk today. Is not just the love of loving just your family or loving the person close to you. It's really loving your neighbor as you love yourself. And as I define it broadly, who is really your neighbor? What makes you a human today? What is the meaning of life to you, for you? And this is what we're living today, really going beyond just the people that makes us happy, and looking at the soldiers, the child who was recruited as a child soldier, and what made him go through that, and how can we go through the cause of the problem, and then bringing it back to me. What would have happened if I was the one if I didn't get the chance to live, if I was the one who joined the movement? And this, once I put myself into this kid's shoes, that's when forgiveness and reconciliation takes place. And so that's why we're here talking about the love and how we can love even the people that have wronged us, even how we can love through this time of difficult time.
Yeah, that is amazing. And so your sister's words and spirit caused you to drop your weapons and your plans to become part of the warrior rebels, and to have a different fight. Fight with love and with your camera and building community. So that seems, Pappy, that I mean, you mentioned several defining moments that seem to have been so key for you to come back to be doing this work with Focus Congo, which that work is all about just fueling the work of people that are making a difference in the Congo. Yeah, can you tell us a little bit? We need to wrap up in a minute, but I want to make sure that you share a little bit about Focus Congo, because it's so incredible what you are doing with that organization.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I need to quickly say that unfortunately my sister, before I continue, my sister passed away a month after she told me to keep loving. And you know, that was an incredible message that she gave me. So within Focus Congo, we were originally, what happened is in 2013, we wanted to get to know Congo and what was happening after I left Congo for many years. So we went to Congo and just kept quiet. And we didn't say, we wanted to listen, not to talk. As we got there for 6 months, for the whole 6 months, we didn't engage in any project. We were just listening to people. What is the problem, or what is the success? How do you deal with that? Really talking to grassroots organization and trying to find the frustration and how they're dealing with them. And that helped us to understand what was our role as first me as a Congolese who was in a diaspora. What was my role to see Congo become a country of prosperity, a country of hope, a country of success, and a peaceful country for a woman to be, for a young boy like I was as a kid. And the founding was intriguing because the frustration was like there are a lot of international NGOs that are working at a place in Congo. And just because 2 decades of conflicts in Congo, and that has affected a lot of people. And of course, NGO flocked in and they started working. And a lot of these NGOs are helping greatly. But with that, there are also media, international media, that are reporting on Congo stories, but they don't report it on a right. They're only looking at what is going wrong at the moment, but they're not looking what has improved and what are Congolese people doing on the ground to see the hope of Congo being restored. And as we looked into that, we're like, we want to do things differently. And it is a journey of actually learning learning on how we can do things better. And it's still for us a journey as we go through it. Um, and we're finding all these young people, and we're like, how can we be able to help young people find their voices again? You know, I, as a media person, someone who studied media, Ryan who studied photography, we have we have Spenya who did her master's in peace and conflict studies. How we can involve these people to combine all these things that we have, all these give to have, to see, to contribute to peace and hope in this country.
And
that's
real
when
quick,
we
Spenya is your wife, yes?
yes she is my
Yeah,
wife.
a very big part of this collaboration.
Yeah, and we didn't want to just go there and just start another organization.
Yeah.
We wanted to work with a local organization to give them to see how we can support them, how we can champion them in order to advance those ideas that they have. And we started supporting education, sending kids to school that didn't have the means to do so. Also going into universities and speaking in universities and looking at topics that are relevant in those areas, and really bringing experts in that domain of society and speak to them. And with that, we start seeing that, okay, this is great, but we need to be more practical. How can we make this practical? And yeah, that's how we I, as a media person, I started doing like a media training.
Yeah.
And after the media training, we would give them the tools to be able to go out there and tell their own stories. And we've been doing this with different people twice, 3 times a year, where we take young people and we look at the vision. What do they want to tell? Which kind of stories they want to tell, and how do they want to tell? So we help them through that and help them tell the stories better. We also helping, we're not very limited as we see ourselves. We help hospital, found doctors around here in the West that are wanting to go there and help train the doctors there, and also bring equipment for hospitals that don't need them. So we do that. And then also, more importantly, we also involved with churches, giving them biblical thinking, because also with the desperation, there are a lot of difference that are going through every message that you're getting. And we call it a threefold organization, education, discipleship, and oh yeah, education, discipleship, and it's like healing, right?
Restoration.
Restoration, exactly.
Yeah.
Restoration. So we combine all of that, and they kind of they intertwine all of them together if you really deeply look at them. And then through that, we decided to also come up with the idea of Kitokoyo. Kitokoyo meaning this beauty. This beauty, there is a beauty in Congo that the international media hasn't shown to the rest of the world. The international, the media, biggest media outlet of the world, focus on the negative and what had happened in the past, and forget about what is being done by the organization there, by the young people. And so we wanted to focus on that in order to bring hope, to restore hope to the young people. We believe that without hope, we cannot see change. And as you start showing hope to the young people, to the families, to the fathers, to the mothers, people be encouraged to start something because they see someone has started, a young person like Murula, who started his own company, turning disposable waste into clean cooking charcoal. And so he's contributing to our environment by not by providing this charcoal so that people don't go and cut and log the trees in Congo. And as we all know, Congo is the second largest rainforest in the world. And so if the Amazon is protected, the Congo forest should also be protected. And this young man came up with this idea alone, and he's doing it.
So cool.
Now one of the hundreds young people in the world making great changes. So it's his story that we want to tell in the Kitokoyo book. Yeah. So
Yes, and
Kitokoyo
I want to make sure that y'all know that there is a link to Kotoko Oyo in the Pappy story link. The stories, both written and photographed, are captivating, and they are truly beautiful. Soul beautiful. Soul. Okay, we have to wrap up here in just a minute, because I have been, speaking of captivated, so captivated by your story, Pappy.
Yeah.
Truly, the journey that you have had and the way that you have both, I think, been blessed to not give up and to keep coming back to loving yourself and loving others and loving God. It is truly a thing of wonder to witness. And I thank you for sharing it. And the thing that I think is so extraordinary beyond the restoration that has happened in your life is how so much of what you do is going back to the same people in the same places where so much pain came, and bringing hope and saying, bringing the same hope that you have found. And for those that are watching, I just want to invite you to look at the places of pain in your own life now or in the past, and just see if there may be something in Pappy's story that's inviting you to love yourself, to find healing, to not give up hope if it feels hope is gone. And this forgiveness piece, I don't say lightly, because what you chose to do and what you were empowered to do is remarkable. And for those that have been injured, wounded, sometimes that is such a place of healing and giftedness, but it is not easy. So if that is you, Pappy and my hearts are with you. So please, friends, as we have are wrapping up this conversation, please take some time to look at the threads of Pappy's story that connect with your own, and choose one thing to do that kind of ground that give it some substance in your own life. We call it inspired action, something in Pappy's inspiring story that you want to weave into your own. And Pappy, I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart, with all my heart, for who you are, for what you do, for the ways that you serve so unstoppably. And my heart and my prayers and my blessings are to you, to Svenja, to the Focus Congo family, to Raïssa and Ryan, and all the other people that are part of this incredible work. And I wish you just a year that will be more than abundant and miraculous, because I know there's a lot of unknown in these days. So thank you, my brother. Thank you for sharing your story. It's been amazing. And y'all, thank you for listening and being a part of Pappy's story and this conversation. Originally, that started with 4 of us from 4 countries from all over the world. What a gift is this wonder of technology. So Pappy and I say our hearts are with you. We love you. Please remember how much you are loved, how much you belong, how much we belong to each other. And let's stand tall together and light up the world. Love you guys. Peace to you. Bye.